And welcome back, everybody. Here we are sitting in Monterey Bay, California, technically Monterey Regional Airport. And if you missed the previous episode, I flew into Monterey on the Citation Longitude, and but this time I thought let's go somewhere interesting, but keep the sequence going. So we're gonna take off from where our previous destination was, which in this case was Monterey, and we're going to be going up to Kilo. I never. I know the name of the city, obviously, but I'd like to share the ICA code with all of you. Kilo Tango Victor Lima, which is Lake Tahoe. So anyway, without further ado, let's get underway. Everything is set. The life plan has been inserted and all that. And don't ask me how that went. Otherwise, my blood pressure will go way up. They have a lot of things to fix. Microsoft and/or Asobo. They have a lot of things to fix on this jet, and more than likely we will definitely come across some more issues in flight, but we're gonna make the best of it and really try to keep a smile on our face the entire time. So here we go. Let's release parking brake and let's begin to roll and make sure I do one more thing set. Yeah, okay. So, hope everybody out there is doing well. Good? Good. Glad to hear it. All right. Let's get turned around. That is one nice thing about this aircraft. It turns on a dime. One of the things that it needs a lot of work on, as I briefly mentioned in the intro. I said, don't get me. I believe I said, don't get me, don't get me started on how well the flight plan went with regard to inputting it. I had to do it via the EFB, which I know a lot of you out there, if you're like me, you'd like to do it the realistic way, and that's inputting it directly. But it would not accept any coordinates after the departure runway. It would only accept the origin, technically the origins runway, and the destination. Nothing in between. Now the one bug, just keep for those of you thinking of buying this airplane or using it in a mission, because I have tried career mode off and on. You cannot start um, the engines if you're in career mode. So I can, however, and we can, however, start the engines when you're not in career mode. And the way you do it, I'm obviously already got everything up and running. But you simply move the left or right master switch to run. Ignition, that setting does not exist. The only settings are off and run. Dry motor should work. Ignition technically should be the spot for starting, and you would obviously leave it in ignition in order for the igniter plugs in the engines to continue to fire, but for takeoff and landing and turbulence. But that doesn't work either. So, yeah, there's something else that they need to work on. So, with that being said, we've got the auto throttle. Is it armed here? 13. Well, technically it should be 0, but okay, flight director stuff. Auto throttle is armed like a. Okay, good. Alright, and we're ready for the after takeoff checklist once we get in the air. Alright, let's get out there. One of the features that they fail to input, or I should say design into the aircraft itself, is since the PC-24 does not have, we have a nice wind coming almost right down the runway, doesn't have an APU, you should be able to motor one of the engines at a very low idle, and that'll give you electricity, but that doesn't work either with this one. So here we go. Again, not flying on VATSIM yet. These airplanes have too many issues for it. So here we go. Yeah, no takeoff. I have no idea why everything is set in pitch trim, everything. I have no idea why that message comes up. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it doesn't. Here's V1, rotate. A little windy, positive rate. Gear up. Take that back. Very windy.
Overspeed, overspeed,
That's
overspeed, overspeed.
Alright, and it automatically selects an unrealistic speed, which is not good. So we go to manual control on that, because we want to go 200 minimum. Alright. So let's get the airplane oriented direct with our first navigational fix. In this case, it's the Salinas VOR, Sierra November Sierra. And then we'll activate the autopilot here in just a little bit. No reason for the autopilot to have all the fun. Parking brake. Oh, yeah. Well, that's another glitch that I believe is occurring in every aircraft that has retractable landing gear. All right. Flying direct to Salinas VOR. Let's get it set up. Okay, we want to go Salinas direct. Activate that. And I'm going to say, we gotta go to nav. Autopilot engages. Goddamn, also engages. Good. And we're going to do a flight level change climb. And we're going to tell it, let's climb it at 230. It already wants to reach and the takeoff speeds again. Don't know why. Very strange. You know what, let's go and tell it to climb at 240 knots. Let's do that. Turn on with the radar. I mean, TCAS should automatically be on. And it is not automatically on. That's not good. Let's go down here to transponder. 1304, that's fine. Let's look here. ARA. It should automatically come on. At least it's always done. I've only flown this aircraft maybe 6 or 7 times. TS should be on. Okay. Turn it on. It did not. Well, that's the first. It always turns on. It has always turned on for me in doing so. Alright, we're above 10,000. Let's just go through the basics here. Landing lights off. Taxi lights off. Wing lights off. That's all we need. Let's go ahead and set the climb rate at 200 and let's see what happens at 280. Yeah, let's see what happens if it allows us to go above 280. It won't for long, but it will. That's what I thought. 280 is a max. Yeah, okay. So 280 is going to be our max. And now we're on the way. Alright. Let's, yeah, fine. It wants to do it again. Okay, just leave it alone. I'm simply getting this ready for the landing into Lake Tahoe. Alright, I believe it's very good now to go through our checklist. Positive and gear up. Yep. Yaw damper is on. Flaps they are up. NCP set. Landing taxi lights off. See, right there, technically that is technically that part of the checklist is incorrect. You turn your landing lights off when you get above 10,000. Below 10,000, they remain on. So that needs to be fixed. Alright, 18,000, transition altitude. Switching over to standard. Which on the standby would be 29.92. Alright. Checklist is complete. And we can go before landing. Checklist, simply bring it up so it's ready and it's something we don't have to think about bringing up again. Alright. 6,000 to go. What we can do, we can go ahead and pull up the weather. For the destination. Oh, I see what it did. Okay, since... Oh, I see. The EFB automatically inputted the runway at Tahoe. So, the only way to really get it is for me to hop on Flight Aware, and that's where I'll get the appropriate information that we need. Because as you can see, if you look over here, let me zoom in for you. If you look over here, if I go down, we should be looking at, yeah, it's not, no. We should be looking at the actual runway. And at a minimum, it should have never delivered the arriving runway, because the runway is determined when you're in flight, not before you even take off. So, anyway, that's why we have to get our info from the tablet. And when I saw I get it from FlightAware, that's where they get it from. I don't know that for 100% as a 100% fact, but all right. At least I need to change this up. Very good. Weather is winds are 160.3 knots, 10 statute miles, overcast 2,900, 3 degrees, and the dew point is 2 below. 3.002 is the altimeter. Alright. And we're going to be doing the RNAV, if I remember correctly. RNAV 18, yep. Let's bring that up right now. Alright, let's look at what we got to do. As you can see, it's already inputted into the flight plan. So we got Jesse, Serby, and then Saki, and then we'll be going in. Alright, minimum decision height, because the airport elevation is 6,266. So 6,980 in our case. So we're gonna do, and we're going to input the info on the minimum here. As you can see, the auto throttle has a very difficult time keeping up with maintaining the speed. See, it vacillates back and forth. It will go north of 280, and then the power comes off by several percentage points, all the way down to 89 and 90, and then it'll go all the way back up to 98, 99, 100, 101. So it goes between 90, and so that's an 11 percentage point swing. Should that happen? No, it should not happen. It should be very stable. We do not have turbulence whatsoever. We have the wind that we have is a headwind, but it's 17 knots right off the nose. With a crosswind of 21, and it's not increasing. In other words, the winds are not gusting up here 26,000. So yeah, if we look at the actual throttles, even going back and forth, that should not happen. Not even close. All right. Time to input the minimums, HSI format. Anyway, inoperative, ident, detail. So let me get this up and running here, as this should be. Let's just see here. TRA, yes. TA stands for Traffic Advisory. RA is resolution. In other words, it's going to tell me how to resolve a potential mid-air collision. That's basically what that means. Norm. Alright, okay. What about this here? Good, I don't need to. Back to this, back to that. No, that doesn't work, does it? ADSB out. That should be on. 1, 2, let's see. Yeah, that's just, that is bizarre. No doubt about it. We don't want to do that, of course. Detail page. IDT, ident. Oh, the ident should only last for a couple of. Ident should only last for a few seconds and go. Oh, there you go. It did go away. All right, well, it's kind of working. All right. Minimums. Let's just go over here. Make sure we've got everybody up here up and running. Destination is, what did we say? It's 3. Enter. And then it wants it in Fahrenheit. Seriously? Alright, well, I don't remember 5th grade math, so I'm gonna have my, I'll just calculate it here on the side. Alright. Okay. Believe me, it should automatically calculate it immediately. But anyways, that's just interesting. 3 degrees. In Fahrenheit's 37.4, so we'll just say 37. Get rid of the EFB. 37. And this is going to be our you know what? Both. Compute. Well. Let me look at one performance number before I make that decision. Give me one moment, and then we'll be at it. While I'm figuring that out, let's go ahead and hop outside, take a look at it. There we go, flying along. Should be able to see San Francisco. Well, it's awful cloudy, isn't it? Anyway, San Francisco would be off our left. To our left. Nice looking aircraft, though. Let's see here. Yeah, you hear the engines going up and down. Should not be happening like that. Alright, well, we're just going to let temperature compensation average leave it off. Compute. Well, it's not giving me. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it's not going to give it to me. Nope. I have to be able to access the altitude for the computation. So, as you can see, it's grayed out. It isn't allowing me to do it. So, yeah, that is unfortunate, no doubt about it. Those are our speeds. Send those over to the PFD here. So expand it. One thing a lot of, and I found this out the hard way, if you want to expand your view, what you have to do is you take the mouse. You see on the left side of the 20 nautical mile circle, that big white ring. Alright, on the very left, you'll see the number 20 in a magenta box with a little arrow. What you want to do, click on that box, hold down the mouse key, and go up. Just drag it up. As you can see, it goes up and up and up. It increases the range. Go down a little bit more. Alright. Looking good. But anyway, for those of you that don't know how that works, that is how it works. Terrain. Let's see what the other one looks like. And that doesn't work, does it? Alright, we'll leave it set to that. Life plan. Already it's in there. Airports. Alright, that's fine. We don't need anything else. We really don't. Airspace, that doesn't work anyway. What does work? Let's see here. VORs. NDBs, intersections. No. Alright, I'll just X out of that. Let's go through our, and well, as you can see, the cabin elevation system, the pressurization system obviously has some issues, and there's no way you can possibly deal with it. Cab low meaning a low cabin. It's on already. There's nothing you can do about it. Adjusting the temperature. I've been through this before. You cannot adjust the temperature for both the cockpit and the cabin. It just doesn't work. Sorry about that. Don't know what to tell you. But we'll begin to send here in just a little bit. Does it not give us? In a way, it does. Anyway, let's go through this because we're going to be there before you know it. What did we say? The arriving ATIS. What did we look it up here? Altimeter 3002 in Tahoe. See, now that shouldn't work. That's not good. It should. What should happen is a box should pop up underneath where you see STD on these, just on the bottom of the altitude tape. And you can dial in what your destination airport's altimeter is, and this does not allow that to happen. So just as a point of reference, we'll do that as soon as we get to 18,000. We'll make sure and do that. Landing taxi lights on before, well, not right off the bat. Arming this. Let's see if it does arm itself. In my experience with this aircraft, I, upon landing, that is the key phrase. Upon landing, I add the speed brakes, aka spoilers. I had them deploy um, without it being armed, and I had them not deploy while they were armed. So take your pick. And the one thing that you definitely want to check, which is something else that we'll do when we get to the point of lowering the landing gear, the speed brake will come on. So we'll just remember to look at that as well. At least with this aircraft, it gives us a audible warning. Yeah, the engines are struggling way too much to keep us at 280 knots. That's just not right. All right, we're getting close. Let's see what it does if I execute the FMS and we dial this down to, let's say, 7,200. The VNAV is on. Alright, looks like it's gonna do the right thing, so we're gonna set this to 7,200. Let's see what it does. If it doesn't do the right thing, then we'll just go manual. Make sure that we're not gonna run into any discontinuities between now and then. Alright. So what I wanted us to do again, that was a little ridiculous. Oh yeah, the landing and the taxi lights. Oh. And as soon as we get near 18,000, we'll go ahead and dial the altimeters to 30.02. I'll say one thing, we made it here in record time. We really did. We really did. Sim brief calculated 1 hour and 1 hour and 15, and we took off 20. Well, I said take off thrust 27 minutes ago. So we're beating SimBrief's calculation by a significant margin, to say the least. So let's go ahead and brief up the arrival. As soon as we get to the survey navigational fix, because Saki is going to be the outer marker. Survey, more than likely what I'm going to do is I'll take command of the airplane, disengaging autopilot, leaving the yaw damper on. We'll turn off the yaw damper 1 mile out, and we will already, at that point, it won't be 1 mile out, we will be configured for landing with regard to landing gear and flaps. The speed brakes will be armed for landing, and if we have to go around, we have the go around instructions already inputted. So if we do go around, or as we say in the industry, we go missed. If we do go missed, we have the holding pattern, if you will, and the missed approach directions already inputted into the flight computer. Any questions? Good. No questions. Alright. Some of you are maybe asking, when when is Fly Adventure? When are they going to do a flight with VATSIM? And the answer to that is when I get a plane that really works well. There's no issues with the transponder, no issues with weather radar, no issues in this case with the PC-24, manually inputting things into the flight plan without having to use the EFB, things like that. Once a plane like that exists, then we'll go on VATSIM about that. Alright, there's 18,000 below 18. 3002 is the barrel there. And we set that on the backup. Stand by, ADI. Alright, we cross that one off the list. Landing taxi lights. You know what? It isn't going to hurt anything. So we'll just turn on the and the visibility. What is the visibility down there? 10 statute miles. Okay. Make sure seatbelt signs on, non-smoking, and auto. Okay, on the lighting, good. See if there's. Let's just make this zoom in a little bit here. We're coming in too fast. I don't like that at all. So we're going to go over, we're going to slow this thing way down to 200. There's one way to help us slow down, that's by doing this. Yeah, the auto throttle, it really does lag. Look at that. I mean, there is no reason for it to give us that much power. Not even remotely close. Alright, we're in VMC conditions. I'm sorry, IMC. Don't know what I was thinking. Alright, IMC conditions, meaning instrument meteorological conditions, IMC. Let's see if we can get her down to 1. I'd like it to be at 175 because everything begins to happen very quickly. Let's put speed brakes out to get us at least below 15. When I say 15, I'm referring to the little bug there that says 15 on the speed tape on the PFD. And we're already setting up for the turn. Flaps 1. That's why you're flying 737s a lot. And the 747. Alright. Flaps 1. Technically it's flaps 8. Let's go ahead and just both of those are on. Landing gear is almost going to be there. Let's go ahead and disengage the speed brake. And it's not responding to my key binding for some odd reason. Don't know why, but it is. Alright, it says that it's armed. Let's just take it out of that position. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's not showing you what it's really doing. There you go. Armed. Alright. Landing against the speed brake is armed. Slow it to let's go to 150 really to be safe. Okay, landing gear down, please. And let's look at the parking brake. Is it on? Of course it is. Go to off. Okay, landing gear is checked off the list. And checklist, before landing checklist is complete. Alright. Next notch flaps, which is 15. Alright. And we are almost in landing configuration. Huh. Don't tell me that's the runway, is it? No way. According to the nav display, it's not. EFB says EFB is not being cooperative one bit. I just gotta recenter. EFB says yes, that is the airport. Wonderful. That's very bizarre. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna disengage. And we're gonna go manual. Full flaps. Would we do this in the real world? No, but not in the mood to do a go around and go through all that mess when you have an aircraft that doesn't work all that great. Could you do safely in the real world? Yeah, you could. You could be just fine. You just gotta be aware of your visibility and the ceiling. Okay, there's trees in the way that should not be there.
500.
Thank you. Trees, they shouldn't be there. Let's see how far we miss them by. Not much. Yeah, pretty close. Alright.
Stall. 100.
Alright, brakes. And no, I have no idea what that master caution was. Have no idea. For a runway with a big slope on it, that landing actually was nice and smooth. All right, let's clean up the airplane here. Let's see if the spoilers deployed. I have no idea if they deployed. All right. Let's just stop here because I know there isn't any traffic. Let's just clean everything up, flaps up, and get the lights adjusted. We no longer need the strobes. Nav only, that is not needed. And taxi, we'll leave those on until we get to the parking stand. Flight director comes off. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, as I was saying, I do enjoy flying on VATSIM, but I don't enjoy doing it when you have aircraft that have bugs in especially when it has to do with the navigational system of the aircraft, meaning how you can input a flight plan or make a change. It just doesn't work well. A taxi near the de-icing tracks. Wants us to be right about here, I guess. Alright. Shut down. Parking brake. Now is where this is when you want the parking brake to be on. Speed brakes. 0. Alright. For those of you that are interested, the flight summary was on my yoke. You can't see my yoke, but on my yoke it's saying wheels up, wheels down. 38 minutes. This is saying 36 in the air. Okay, I'll take that. 201 nautical miles. That's about right. Average airspeed was 327 knots. Takeoff time 0053 Zulu. Landing time 0129 Zulu. Right, say 0129. Okay, that would all work. Okay, well, that's how that works. Now there's one major issue. Let's look at the fuel for a minute. We took off with half in both wings, and they're both down to below 1/3. I don't think so. So that is something else that needs to be looked into, because there simply is no way that we burn that much fuel. Not even close. All right. Shutdown procedures. Parking brake is speed brakes. Yep. Retracted flaps are up. Yes. Landing and taxi. Did I get the taxi lights? No, I didn't. Taxi lights. Engine master. Now here's the problem with the checklist. If I turn off the engines right now, this entire screen goes away. Did you know that? Yep. The only two screens that work when the engines are not running is the left seat PFD and the upper MFD up here. Just these two screens. So we're not going to do that yet. Passenger signs off. Yeah, we'll do that. Oxygen, yeah, okay, we'll get that in a second, which is by the way located right here. Alright, is everything else? Make sure everything else is off, meaning lights, the whole 9 yards. I'll grab these two after we turn the engines off. Okay, we're going to say engine master's off. And generator and battery switches are obviously going to be on. See, the generator and battery switches, if I turn those off before I get to this point in the checklist is not going to be available anymore. So that just goes to show you a lot of things need to be fixed in this aircraft. A lot. Reset them all. And let's go ahead and shut her down. Generators coming offline. And beacon lights are off. Nav lights off. All other lights are off. No smoking is off. And as you can see, just because the engines are off, the lower MFD and the first officer's PFD is off. So you can only run off of this for so long. With regard to ground power, if there was any. And I have tried it, by the way, plugging it into a GPU, and it does nothing for you. Alright, batteries off. There we go. And let's get out. I guess he's gonna stay in. I guess he's not gonna get out. There's the lavatory. I'll explain how it works in another video. Let's see here. Here we go. And welcome to Lake Tahoe, everybody. Let's see here. Yeah, the door of the aircraft should remain open. I don't know why it has to shut. That's unfortunate. But all right, we'll do what we're supposed to do here, and that is, in theory. Nope, it will not allow me to do that, and that is place the chocks. All right, well, welcome to Lake Tahoe, and I hope you got something out of it. I hope you saw just a few things that I pointed out. Okay, more than just a few things that need to be fixed. But yeah, welcome to Tahoe, and drop me a comment. We read every one of them, and even though we're just getting the channels up and running, we would love to read your comments. And if you would like to see another aircraft, we'll drop that comment below, and we'll put together a unique flight so that we can do a tutorial on it. So if you would, though, last thing before I forget, if you would, hit subscribe, click the thumbs up button, and come on board as we continue to make this channel better and give you more and more content that is relevant to you and for you, so that you can get the most out of aviation, because that is what this channel is about. Getting you not just entertainment, but getting you to a level that makes you a better aviator. And that's what we're all about. And having fun, obviously, is part of it. So take care, and we will see you very soon. And until then, fly safe.